Hello friends and welcome back to our homestead. Today I am continuing on my preparation for Thanksgiving mode, and I'm going to be making a stuffing. But my stuffing is not going to go inside the bird. It's going to be more like a casserole, so I guess it's called stuffing dressing. That's what I've heard people call it. And I'm going to be making it gluten-free simply because we have some people who are dealing with gluten intolerance. So I'm going to be making gluten-free, but this can be made with regular stuffing as well, like non-gluten free. And also I am going to be stretching it a little bit. I'm going to be cutting corners here, which is a little bit unusual for me. You know me, I love to cook from scratch, and I'm going to be using lots of things here that I'm going to be from scratch. But I'm going to be using a little assistance of the stuffing mix from Trader Joe's, and I'm going to be using some chicken broth also for Trader Joe's, and some shiitake mushrooms, and some sweet Italian sausage. And to stretch this and make this a little bit bigger, I'm going to be using regular white sandwich bread, also from Trader Joe's. You can tell I went shopping at Trader Joe's. They just have a lot of good selection. I'm not sponsored by them, but hey, Trader Joe, if you're listening to me, I wouldn't mind being sponsored. So I'm going to be just stretching to make a little bit bigger portion, because this box here is quite small. It's only a little bit over 12 ounces. So it's kind of small, really not going to feed a lot of people. So I'm going to be using some of this bread as well. So let me show you step by step. This is a rich, very delicious, almost kind of like melts in your mouth stuffing that everyone loves in my family. And it does not need to go inside the bird. It's going to be cooked right here in this casserole, and it's going to be served on our Thanksgiving table. So just to go over real quick, what are the ingredients we're going to be using today? Well, I'm going to be using a stuffing mix from Trader Joe's. It's gluten-free, and I'm going to be adding some regular bread croutons. Then I'm going to be using, I don't need this whole package. I'm only going to be taking 2 links of this sweet Italian sausage. If people who don't like pork, I've made it before with turkey or chicken sausage, and it came out just as good, but this is what I usually use. So I only need a couple of them, okay? Then I'm gonna be using shiitake mushrooms. They are very nutritional and they're so good for our immune system. So I'm gonna be cutting them up and using, it's not a lot in here. What is this? It's only 4 ounces. So I'm gonna use the entire package. I'm going to be using some chicken broth because we need lots of chicken broth to soak up all this dried stuff. So I'm going to be using the entire packet. How big is this? This is 32 fluid ounces in here. And these are my aromatics. Let me tell you, without them, there is no stuffing. All right, so obviously an onion, and I'm going to be using a white onion, 1 white onion. Then I'm going to be using 2 medium-sized carrots, couple of stalks of celery, because these are essential. You cannot do without them. And then of course I'm going to be using some fresh herbs because I love and I grow fresh herbs. So we got some beautiful sage, not a lot. I do not like to put a lot of sage because it can overpower and kind of dominate the flavor of your stuffing. So just a couple of few leaves should be to taste, okay? Then I'm going to be using thyme. Now, thyme is wonderful in stuffing. So I have a little pile here. I'm not measuring because I believe that all of the herbs should be to taste. And I have 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary. All right, so these are my aromatics, and I'm going to be using a little bit of olive oil to saute my vegetables. And then also I'm going to be adding extra butter. This is 6 tablespoons. And you can put more, you can put less, but I find that it does require a little bit of butter to make things go well. This is Thanksgiving. Nothing is low calorie for Thanksgiving. It would be sin to be low calorie. All right, so let me start by cutting up my bread, and this is also gluten-free bread, and I'm going to be, I don't know how much, but it's a small package. This is only 12 ounces of bread here. And again, if you don't need to add extra, it's fine not to, but I'm going to simply because I need to stretch a little bit. You know, this, oh my goodness, I need a better knife. simply because 12 ounces in this box is just simply not enough for us, and I need to stretch it a little bit. And instead of buying a whole new box of flavored, seasoned, I should say, of breadcrumbs, I've decided to make my own. All right. And there's nothing wrong with cheating a little bit when you need to cut time, but yet still feed your family with good food. All right, let me cut them all up. So to this, I'm going to be drizzling some olive oil as I am going to be putting this in the oven. The temperature in the oven. So, all right, in the past, I thought, hey, since I'm making a toast, I should put on a broiler. And guess what happened? I burned them all so quickly. So it should not go on the broiler. Instead, I'm going to do 425 degrees, and I'm going to be gauging it by checking in them frequently, and actually I'm going to be turning them in halfway through. So let me show you the process. Don't waste those breadcrumbs. All of these crumbs go here. All right, let me grab the olive oil. All right, let me just drizzle a little bit of olive oil all over, toss them around. And if you like, you can drizzle a little bit of salt on them right now, but I'm gonna let them be just as is, because they're all gonna get seasoned later when we mix all of these breadcrumbs together. All right, so just a little bit more olive oil because I don't want anything to burn, a little bit on the edges. All right, that should be good. That should be good. All right, guys, you guys are going in the oven 425 for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to toss them. While that bread is toasting in the oven, I'm gonna start working on my sofrito, on my zajarka. All right, so these are my vegetables I'm gonna be putting into my aromatics, okay? So I'm just gonna be cutting, cutting, whatever you wanna call it, into little chunks. I'm not gonna do big chunks because I don't want a big chunk of onion in my stuffing. I want it to be nice and small. So I'm just gonna be cutting my onion nice and small because that's what we're gonna be sauteing together with the sausage, okay? So before I put the sausage in the skillet, I know this is gonna cook kind of fast, so let me just cut this all up into little pieces, okay? And so it's ready to go. All right, next is gonna be the carrot. I'm just gonna peel it real quick and also cut it into little cubes, similar to as the onion. And I'm gonna do the same thing with celery. Those are essential flavors in my stuffing. You cannot go without them. Sauteing my vegetables, just to drizzle a little bit of olive oil so nothing sticks to it. And I'm going to be taking the sausage out of the casings. All right, just I'm going to cut the casing off and dump the sausage in here. All right, same thing on this guy. And I'm going to break them up into little chunks. So like I said, you can use, I like this little tool. It's a really cool gadget. It helps to break them up. Oh, they're sliding a little bit. And I'm gonna just brown it until everything is nicely cooked, and then I will add the onions and other stuff. All right, the sausage is browned nicely, and oh, I'm gonna be dumping all this onion and carrots and celery, and they're gonna all cook together until all the vegetables are nicely cooked. I'm gonna turn down the heat so nothing is burning. All right, so let this bad boy cook all together. In the meantime, let's check on our bread. Oh yes, it's beautiful. It might need another minute or two. It was 15 minutes. No, actually they're crispy, they're fine. They were in the oven for 15 minutes and they're nicely toasted. Okay, while that is cooking, let me chop up these beautiful mushrooms real quick. They're already nice and clean, but I do not want these stems. So the stems are gonna go in the compost pile, all right? So, and I'm just gonna chop them up into little, they cook so fast. So this is why I'm adding my mushrooms later. They're the last ones to go in. And I'm just chopping them up into small pieces as well. You don't have to use this particular mushrooms. Any mushrooms would work. Button mushrooms will work, oyster mushrooms will work, but I do like shiitake mushrooms in my stuffing. All right, so let me just chop them up real quick. Beautiful mushrooms I got from Trader Joe's. Okay, mushrooms are going in. This will cook for another minute or two, and this is ready to mix in with other beautiful ingredients. The mushrooms cook extremely fast, so I'm just going to toss them in together, and they're going to cook up pretty quickly. And they don't have to be completely done, as long as they kind of softened up a little bit. Okay, let's put this whole thing together. So let me just open up the package and let me just show you the difference. And I'm not knocking down any boxed, but look at the difference. Not kidding. Look at the difference between my toast and a store-bought toast. But anyway, it's gonna go very well. So I'm gonna dump the 12 ounces of boxed toast, and I'm gonna grab what I have here. It's only also 12 ounce. It's kind of hot still, so I have to be careful. All right, so let me just put all this beautiful toast in here as well. All right, everything goes in here. And I'm not gonna clean this. I'm not gonna clean this casserole because everything's gonna be baked in that casserole. All right, so to this now we need to add my aromatics, which are over here. Let me grab it. And all of my beautiful vegetables going in here as well. Oh, it smells like Thanksgiving. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank God for Thanksgiving. We are so thankful for the family and friends, for my church family, for my job, for my health, and for so many other wonderful things that we were given. All right. I'm thankful for this country too. All right, so I'm just gonna mix everything together. Mix, mix, mix. And then let me do this. I'm going to grab my herbs. Remember my herbs that I had here? So I'm just gonna take some of these leaves of sage. Just a few, not too much. Okay. I'm gonna be taking rosemary right off the branch, because the branch is kind of woody, so we don't want the branch, you know what I mean? All right, and then I'm just gonna do the same thing with thyme and just taking off the leaves because I don't want the woody branches. That's not what we want. We want the flavor of the leaves. Some of them are nice and soft. All right, so everything is here, and I'm just gonna take a knife also, and I'm gonna chop them up because we want these beautiful herbs to flavor things up. Now, just in case you guys don't have any fresh, because that's a possibility that you don't have any fresh and you're like, Lilia, what am I supposed to do? I don't have fresh herbs. I'm sorry you don't have fresh herbs. You know what will work is a combination of herb de Provence, it's called. So there's like a mixture of multiple different herbs in there. And even though they're dry, it will work, and they will work beautifully. All right, so all my herbs are here. Okay, let me put that all in there. Okay, my butter is still sitting here. All right, let me put this all inside. Okay, so that all goes in here. And then remember the butter. We're not gonna forget the butter. I'm just gonna cut them up into little chunks as well. And that will go in here as well, just like this. I'm going to be just dropping them into chunks. Don't worry, it will melt, it will marry together. It doesn't have to be anything major, really. So let me just mix everything together as well with all of these herbs. Okay, just like that. It's a nice. I love it. It smells wonderful. And then, do you remember this chicken broth I have? It's low sodium. I did it on purpose, low sodium, because I want to control the salt. So in here, I have 32 ounces. So it's because I have 24 ounces of breadcrumbs total, and I'm putting 32 ounces of broth, and it's gonna soak up everything. It's gonna give it a nice flavor. All right, so let me just, all right, everything's here. All right, okay, nice and nice. All right, let me stir this up again so everything will be absorbed very nicely. I almost forgot, inside of this box is a packet with all of the mixture that it comes with. And you can omit it because, trust me, this has plenty of flavor, but I will sprinkle a little bit because it does have some dried herbs in here and dried mushrooms, whatnot. So I'm not using the entire package because I don't want to, but you can if you want to. And I'm just gonna mix everything before I put it in my baking pan. Again, it's already flavored plenty with all of the wonderful vegetables and my pork, sausage. All right, so everything is gonna go back into the same baking dish where I toasted my bread, and I'm just gonna sprinkle olive oil on the bottom, a little generous, simply because I don't want anything to stick. And it's gonna go back in here for baking. Oh geez, I just hope that it all fits in here, because I always underestimate how much food I have and how big of a container I need to get. So I'm just gonna push it down, and everything is gonna go ahead and bake in the preheated oven. So this also can be made ahead of time, just like all of my other dishes I've showed you so far. All of my side dishes can be made ahead of time, sit in your refrigerator overnight, wait for its turn in the oven. I'm just pushing this all down so it's nice. And it's also a good idea to save a few fresh herbs to sprinkle on the top. All right, I'm gonna cover everything because it bakes nicely covered. Okay, so the oven is preheated 350, and I'm gonna bake it for a half an hour. Everything should be nice and heated through. So this has been baking for 40 minutes. I checked at 30 minutes and it was still not done. At 40 minutes, this is what it looks like. And guess what? I took the cover off, and it's gonna go back into the oven to kind of crisp up just a little bit for the next 5 minutes. Not too much because I don't want anything to burn, and I need 2 hands, so I'm gonna put the camera down. So baked for 40 minutes covered, and back to for 5 minutes just to get a little extra color on top. Beautiful, sizzling, beautiful stuffing, and it's going to be in a casserole served just like this. So I can't give it a taste right now because it's super hot. I need to give it a little time to cool down and allow all of these flavors to marry together. But I can tell you, my kitchen smells like heaven. It smells like heaven with all of these herbs and delicious vegetables, and it's just amazing, and I'm looking forward to my Thanksgiving meal. On this note, friends, I hope you are encouraged to make things ahead of time, make things from scratch, and it's okay if you have to cheat a little bit and add a boxed something to help you to have enjoyable and healthy and delicious Thanksgiving. On this note, friends, be encouraged and try something new.